Okay. So basically, Priyavatana, so what you can do is, in order to, take care of sugar intake, you have to probably clean up your kitchen, like the first task as such. You can go ahead and make sure that you have more of healthy snacking availability in your house. That's the first thing that you can do. And you can probably go ahead and increase your protein intake for the morning. Increasing protein intake in the morning can actually help you bring down your sugar craving. And of course, having some fruits in the morning can also, give the a requirement that can help you for you to handle your sugar craving as such. These are like the top 3 tips that I can give you as a part of sugar craving for now. Try these things and don't worry, you're just now in week 2. When you move on to week 3, week 4, week 5, slowly, when you start bringing in addition of healthy foods, like I always keep saying, when you bring in addition of healthy foods, then you might probably find this easier, right? So that could happen as well. Okay, and all right. So reducing potato is difficult. That's my favorite. And almost all the meal I have potato. Okay, so see, this is how it goes, right? So potato is basically starch, right? It's basically equivalent to taking rice. So if you're so keen on taking potatoes, then you'll have to bring down your rice quantity or your roti quantity or whatever it is. Just that a lot of rice could contribute for a smaller amount of potatoes, which means that you need to give up on a lot of rice, which means that you're giving up on the grain-based stuff as well. So I'm not against people taking their favorite food. Like I keep saying, I believe in you guys taking more of your favorite food. So I would prefer you to probably one side bring down the frequency of taking the potatoes and the quantity of taking the potatoes. And on the other side, probably until you get accustomed to it, you will have to reduce your grain-based carbohydrate accordingly, be it your dosa or roti or rice or what, because both are going to contribute towards your carbohydrates. Okay, I hope that helps. Let's see how we can take it forward. Don't at any point of time, don't restrict yourself too much, right? Have fun. Have some logical sense when you're implementing things. So that's the main thing here, right? Awesome. Cool. You got it. Fantastic. Please suggest. Okay. So Prayavadana, you're in week 2. In week 3, you'll get a list of all these things like starchy, non-starchy vegetables, protein intake in vegetarian, non-vegetarian. Similarly, what are the fruits that is high in sugar? So you will get a fair idea on that. So in your membership link, it will occur because week 3 is based on your intake. That is when we start speaking about your intake. Okay. So don't worry about it. You'll have a list available in your membership link at that point of time. Okay. Awesome. What else do we have here? Okay. Okay. Hello, Veena. Hey, Payal. How are you guys today? Which week are you guys in? What exactly is going on? Okay. I have nuts, badam and raisins in the morning with empty stomach. Absolutely, it's fine. You can have nuts at any point of time. At any point of time. I know that a lot of them used soaked nuts, and they have it in the mornings because they remove the skin of it and things like that. But you don't necessarily have to do all of that for the sake of weight loss. It's probably good for like senior citizens and stuff like that who are not able to bite it or whatever. And they say that they remove the cholesterol part of it and things like that. But right now, I think we need everything, right? Like I said, we need everything, all kinds of nutrients. So you can gladly take nuts, not just in the morning alone. You can also take for the rest of the days whenever you have, a crunchy crave or something like that. The nuts and seeds are best options to carry around with you in your bags, in your purse, at your workplace. So absolutely fine. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Can we eat fruits with breakfast, lunch, or dinner? You can eat it at any point of time. Taking it in the morning has its advantages because fruits are basically a little on the higher end with sugar. So what happens is it helps you bring down the sugar crave for the rest of the day. So having fruits in the morning along with your meal helps you to handle your sugar crave like at least till evening or so. So having it in the morning would be a very good choice. And also it helps a lot for the digestion process, your gut and things like that, because it's high fiber. So that might be a good idea as well. And feasibility wise, right? Because when I tell you to take vegetables in all the 3 meals, I don't mind, taking the previous night's vegetable. That's how I usually save. Fruits are like not as often as vegetables for me. So But for people who don't have the feasibility to, have a vegetable ready for the morning meal, fruit is an easy option. A quick apple or a guava or I don't know, any sort of food that you like to take, clementine or whatever it is. So you can go ahead and choose that as an option. And so that way, I think you can go ahead and eat. You can have it for lunch also. You can have it for dinner also. As far as you just follow that procedure of bringing in the balanced meal format, it's perfectly fine for you to, go ahead and do that. So that's no problem. Okay, awesome, Payal, you're doing well. Fantastic. So, okay, if you have cucumber to balance the meal, should it be taken before having or after? You can take it along with the meal. See, there is a reason why I'm saying that you need to take it along with the meal. Two reasons. So one is you tend to sort of have some sort of a fat structure in your meal, right? In any sort of a meal, there will be a small fat content added, right, in the form of ghee or oil or coconut or whatever it is. So having a vegetable along with the fat component usually allows you to absorb the nutrients of the vegetables in a fantastic manner. Otherwise, it usually drains down. So just biting your cucumbers and carrots now and then like rabbits, it's not going to help us that much. Probably, yes, empty calories, but still, it's always good to take along with the meal. So that is the reason I'm giving very clear instructions saying that, have along with the meal. Okay, so that way you can probably, sort of one side you're going to absorb the nutrients of the vegetables because of the other fat components in the rest of the meal, number one. And second thing is your fullness will change when you take your vegetable. Let's say you take cucumbers, it's full of water. So it basically fills you up, right? So, and so you'll probably cut down your carbohydrate accordingly. So that is another trick that we follow. Is one of the most successful trick for many KDsians, which has worked beautifully when you take this along with the meal. One of, I would say, the most high priority task is week 3. Yeah. So I hope I answered your question. Hey, Meghna. Glad to have you. About the balanced meal. Okay. So let's do one thing then. Since we're talking a lot about balanced meal, let me just, it's available in your membership link in the natural weight loss formula. But let me just probably take you through, the balanced meal topic today, if that's okay with you guys. I'll just take the last 15-20 minutes on that maybe. If we are done with the question answers, then probably we can go for that next. Okay, I'll definitely share about the balanced meal very, very, very clearly, right? Because that is the key for the success. So, okay, if I make palak chapati and does not have any other veggies, will it be considered as a full meal? Well, I am usually I usually don't agree with that. 2 reasons again. So one is you're not munching the vegetables. Okay, it's smashed, it's mixed, and like I've already mentioned to you, when you munch and eat, your GI tract assumes that you've eaten a lot, and it signals to your brain saying, asking it to stop in a halfway through meal or an 80% fullness cue. When you just mash up everything, it becomes like a processed food where everything is already mashed in. So you tend to eat more, right? So even though you might, that's the reason soups and all these mixed dosa format and mixed chutney format, vegetables in form of juices, all these things usually, I'm not very happy about it when people take in that format. Along with that, maybe just, an apple or just about a carrot or some cucumbers or any simple thing that you can add, something from the previous meal. If it's a gravy, if it's a sabzi, you can just scoop the veggies from that and take along with it, because you're making roti paratha anyways. So something, or maybe a raita. Raita is an absolutely cool option as well if you like to take raita along with paratha. Make a nice big bowl of onion raita or cucumber raita or different kinds of raita you can make. So you can use that for the vegetable component, right? So something that, see, storing in raita is also a very easy way of bringing in your vegetable component, right, for the entire day. You can have it along with, different kinds of rotis, parathas, and all those kind of things. So even along with lunch, sometimes rice also, people do take raita along with other kinds of meals. So yeah, so that's another way of taking in. Okay, I hope I answered the question. Hey Sandhya, guys, please choose panelists and attendees so that everybody can read your questions. Okay. How much oil is recommended per day? Don't do that, Veena. Okay, so just be, let's not measure anything as such. Maybe, see, until unless it goes deep fried or until you just pour like too much of oil in your meal or something like that. As far as you use them for like simple tadka or simple gravy or I don't know, whatever for dosa and things like that, it's okay. Don't, see, because we are not getting ready for a sport here, like an athletic sport here where we have to be very stringent on the oil that we have to take and stuff. Like we're just looking at a basic weight loss with simple wellness strategy and stuff like that. Probably you can look at it this way. When you're cooking, you can be a little bit more conscious on the amount of oil that is actually required for the dish as such. And you can also choose items that probably is not extremely oily on a regular basis. Basically, avoiding the deep fried is that is what usually covers this part of it. But the rest of it, like for tadka sake or for cooking sake, I think it's fine. It's okay. We need that fat component, like I said. Especially if it will be great if we can include, coconut oil and groundnut oil. Oil of that kind is going to give you a much better nutrition value compared to that of regular thing. And if you can get them cold pressed, organic sort of stuff, preferably from a local vendor, it would be really great. Okay, so that's about the oil part of it. How about seeds like sunflower, pumpkin, chia, watermelon? What's a good way to consume them? Yeah, I mean, you can have them. Like I already mentioned, Sandhya, nuts and seeds are great options. You can just simply make them like a mixture sort of stuff and eat it. Just like nuts, you can have them in normal ways, or you can mix it up in yogurt and you can take that. Don't add any sugar or don't go for flavored yogurts and stuff like that. You can soak them for a while and have them. So you can just, it can just be a simple evening snack, like, just along with yogurt is a great combination, even for chia seeds and stuff like that. Generally, pumpkin seeds and all those things, you can just have it. You can have even roasted ones of that, like, how peanuts and all that is taken. You can just have roasted formats of these seeds and you can mix them and you can take it along with it. Just make sure that you don't have any intolerance issues, because some people, when they go for seeds and nuts, one or two could be causing allergies or intolerance. And so always when you're starting with nuts and seeds, don't go for a mixed version immediately. If you're starting newly, if you're already taking, it's cool. But if you're starting newly, take them individually first and make sure that none of them are giving you any allergy or intolerance or anything of that kind. And then you can start mixing up. And sometimes mixing up, because of the mixing up also, you might start getting some issues. So just be a little careful on using that, but it's perfectly fine to go about and taking seeds. Very good option for snacking, in fact. Boiled ones lose the nutrients, so which one is better, raw or boiled? Again, right, these are like not exactly the same for all the vegetables, right? It differs. For example, like tomatoes need to be cooked and taken because it's got a little toxins in it. So similarly, cauliflower and things like that, right? So it's better to cook and eat them because you need to kind of get rid of the germs or the toxicity in it and things like that. So there are a few vegetables that it's better to take them, cooked format, and there are a few vegetables which are okay to be taken in the raw format. You're not going to be losing the nutrients completely until and unless you're going to, some people make this mistake of boiling the vegetables and pouring out the water and then eating the vegetables. So basically the water is the stock which has the entire nutrients in it. So that is one mistake that many make. Until unless you're doing that, or you're like sitting and overcooking like for a very long time, right? Some people like slow cooking, and when they overcook it for a very long time also, you might tend to lose it. So just keep them all in moderation, just, sprinkle water and make your vegetables, probably just do some tadka, add some coconut to it, or add some masala to it. I go a little, experimental with it. So as to how one day it'll be spicy, one day it'll be salty, one day it'll be like normal. It'll depend on each and every combination that I make along with, right, the gravy and stuff like that. So just try to have the vegetables in just moderately cooked format is usually suggested. So that we are getting rid of the toxins on one side, and on the other side, one more thing is, see, in general, human body is actually not a very accommodating system for raw plants and veggies, right? Like we don't have the system as of a cow or a goat, because the way a cow eats, it's like, you might have noticed it. it takes the cud back in, okay, and it just keeps munching and munching and munching. They say the cow cud, right? Because it doesn't just, it'll first swallow and then it brings back the food and then it'll munch for a long time and then only it will swallow back. So we don't have the capability to do that, okay? So we don't have the necessity to do that and capability to do that. So that's the reason it's better to, you know, have them always like little bit cooked and taken, okay? Awesome. Can we have one another? Yeah, I mean, if you like it, you can take it. I have curd with those. I don't mind curd with those. It depends upon how you like to take it. The reason I mentioned about raita is because that's another way of bringing in a vegetable. That's all, as simple as that. So it could be for any format. It could be with roti or it could be with rice. Sometimes even if I have with rice and some gravy, I don't mind taking some raita along with that. So it kind of balances out the taste as well as the it's easy to make. Like it just takes 5 minutes to make raita. It doesn't take a lot of time, right? So that's another way of doing it. Okay. All right. Awesome. Cool. So I think we've kind of covered the questions till now. If I have missed out anything, just please type in again. I hope I've kind of covered the questions till now. Any other questions, guys? Do you guys have? So how was, what are the new joinees? Hello, Devi, Meghna, Payal's been quiet. Okay, portion control is being difficult when you start doing. How do you satisfy the hunger when you start portion control? So, okay, so this is one of the biggest mistake that we make. I will also be re-emphasizing this when I explain about the balanced meal in a while now. Time is 7:20. Probably we'll start off with a balanced meal by 7:30. Let us not reduce the food before we add the food. Okay, many of us make this mistake. As soon as they join our program, they just quickly bring down their entire consumption of food. That's not what I'm talking about here, right? Our first week is to cut down your sugar and deep fried. Second week is to slowly start increasing your metabolism by starting to walk. Third week is, first of all, addition of food. I'm not talking about deletion of food, right? It's very important to think about the addition of food so that you don't have hunger pranks, okay? I'm asking you to add the vegetables or fruits along with each and every meal. So that should be able to take care of your satiety as well as your hunger. Okay, so that is the main idea behind adding the fruits. And only in week 5 we will go for reducing the carbs a little bit and then increasing the vegetables or fruits more. So there is a reason also as to why I have framed it in such a manner, because your body will slowly get accustomed to the eating. So I don't want you to blindly bring down your quantity of food, because first of all, it changes for each and every person. One person will eat only one person will eat two, one person will be eating three. And I've seen all of them reduce weight. It doesn't matter. It should be based on your own fullness cues in your own metabolism. So please don't blindly reduce the food. Even beyond this, if you're still not, if you feel that you're still hungry, that could happen because probably your consumption level was higher earlier, or your stress level is higher, or whatever. There can be different reasons also as to why you're still getting. Always carry the healthy snacking along with you. So whenever you are hungry in between, go ahead and munch the healthy snacking, no problem. Like I said, the nuts and the seeds are great options. You can go for chickpea. You can go for all the sundal based stuff, right? All the lentils and pulses that you can just cook and keep in the morning, just a whistle with some salt and soak them the previous night, and you can happily have a bowl of that. So these are like a few prep works that you can actually do in terms of your meal planning. Worst case scenario, you can have all these nuts and seeds and stuff like that, where you don't have the time to cook or you forgot to cook or whatever it is. So I don't want you to go hungry at any point. See, we shouldn't suffer through this entire program. It's very important for us to keep it in a very chill pill manner, right? Nobody has to suffer through this program for the sake of weight loss. You can feel full, you can feel happy, because you'll get cranky if you get hungry. It's not good for your mental health as well. So I would recommend you to not go hungry in the name of diet or anything of that kind, okay? I hope I clarified that clearly, Meghna. See, they say that, okay? They say that we need to know who says that, okay? You're saying they say that not to eat fruits post meal, pre meal. There are a lot of information bombing that happens, okay? So if we want to listen to each and everybody, we cannot possibly eat at all. And even among doctors, people tell different things. So until and unless you have a specific medical condition which is being followed by a specific medical practitioner who has told you not to take this because of your medical condition, or any specific research based stuff that you need to follow, until unless you are into some sort of a specific nature of avoiding food or the way of eating or something like that, please try your level best to avoid the information bombing. People around us will always give health gyans alone, anybody and everybody can give because nobody has a restriction in that. Okay, so don't worry, like I said, hundreds of us have been eating and we're all alive, so feel free to go ahead and eat it. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Each person's meal is different, but it'd be great if you could share what you eat in a day. Me, yeah, of course, mine is very, very simple. If you look at my meal, you'll be like, what is that all types? I used to share it actually initially in our first community in the WhatsApp group. We were just part of a simple WhatsApp group. That's what we did. And I used to share my meal almost every day whenever just before I eat and stuff like that. So I don't mind. I could go ahead and share. My meal is very simple. Like guys, my life is very simple. My meal is very simple. So I never go for very fancy stuff as such. It's a proper South Indian meal. Predominantly, dosa and rice-based food. I don't have the patience to make rotis very often, so I order out at least once or twice a week. And when I order out, I make sure that I still have my meal balanced. I very easily balance it out, even if I order out. I know how to balance it, so that is one advantage. So I don't get scared of ordering out. And so yeah, it's very, very simple. So, but yeah, I would love to share it, no problem at all, no secret at all. Yeah. How much time should we give between the meals? Okay. Pile, until unless like, you have any gut issue or any digestion issue or something like that. Because I would like to know how this question popped up, why this question popped up. Because when people have issues of that kind, sometimes people ask us to split it into 6 to 8 meals, right? It depends upon why we want to do this. So splitting it into smaller meals, they usually recommend this to pregnant women and people who have intolerances and things like that, to split it into smaller meals with shorter intervals. So that way you can kind of have little food now and then, and you don't kind of go through the difficulties that people usually go through. So that is one way of eating it. And sometimes people just go for 3 times a meal, 3 times a day. And some people go for 5 times a day. So everybody has a different pattern of eating, but the only request that I have is that whatever is your pattern, stick to that particular pattern consistently. Like don't eat like 8 times a day and the next day like don't starve the entire day, or don't eat like twice a day. Don't go very inconsistent on the way you're eating, because your body will get terribly confused and your metabolism will be completely affected if you change the pattern is very, 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 very important. Say, for example, there are a few family patterns where they take directly a full meal at around 10:30 based on community and all that. And then they have an evening tiffin at 3:30. And then they go for again another lighter meal. It could be again rice or anything of that kind, again by 7-ish or 8-ish. And they close the meal. So there are different kinds of people based on their families, based on their communities, based on their feasibility, availability, all these things, people take it in a different manner. So it's okay to have different patterns, but sticking to the consistency of your pattern, maybe at least in a week's time, you should be able to understand which is the pattern that is being comfortable for you to follow. That's very, very important. Okay. Okay, I still have sweet cravings, tips to reduce it. All right. Okay, we covered about this, I think, last week or the previous week as well. So I will talk about it again for sure. What type of cuisine is ideal while ordering out? See, generally, Indian food is the naturally balancing meal. There is no doubt about it. Okay, you cannot beat it. It's very, very difficult. Sometimes, Subway is okay. Sometimes, if you're ordering, even if you go for like a pizza or something like that, I usually go for a lot of added vegetables. I don't mind spending extra because it's usually like once a month or something like that for me. So I go for a lot of added vegetables into it. And if I go for noodles and things like that, I kind of make sure that I have something else available with me at home along with it, like maybe a fruit or something like that, because I might not have a vegetable from what they send. And sometimes I order, because most of the time Chinese tend to have only deep fried stuff. when brought from outside. Not of course the actual Chinese, Indo-Chinese. Okay, so they tend to have only deep fried stuff. Even the Manchurians and the gravies and everything is deep fried and then only added. So you cannot possibly avoid the deep fried in Chinese. So so that's one of the main reasons a lot of people might find it difficult to reduce weight and they have a lot of Chinese. Apart from that, Mediterranean is supposed to be very, very good. Their food style is supposed to be extremely naturally healthy. So, and then you can go for tacos are fine, but of course it's maida based. There are a few places where it's wheat based. So that is something that you can take again. Generally, you can have like everything, like I said, but you just have to make the right choices. Even if you go for a buffet or if you're ordering out or whatever, it's just try to balance it in a simple manner. How do I make those macronutrients fall in place? First level, let's not even get into micronutrients yet, just the basic level. How do we get that in place? And of course, we shouldn't be overshooting in the fat by taking deep fried and sugary stuff and things like that. As simple as that. Have my dinner at 8 to 8:30 and some fruits at 10 and a glass of milk just before hitting the bed. Is this okay? I would still prefer you to take your fruits along with your dinner. You can have fruits again if you don't, if you want to, because you feel that you're hungry or something like that. But like I said, I want the meal to be balanced when you're taking simultaneously at the same time, because it's going to contribute towards a lot of things. So it's not just about filling yourself up. It's also about how the fiber carries your carbohydrates along with it, right? When the so basically when you take carbohydrates, the sugar hits in, right? Your insulin levels tend to go higher. When you take it along with fiber, the way the sugar is released is completely different. It takes time. So that is one of the main reasons why I recommend people to take fruits as fruits and not as juices. Because the fiber is lost there and this particular action is missed out. Okay, so this is another reason. There are many reasons also as to why I insist on taking it along with the meal. I'm just telling you one by one as in when you keep asking the thing. What about alcohol? Okay, so alcohol again, you can take, I think for men and women it differs. You can take, it depends upon what kind of alcohol you're taking, of course. Very high sugary alcohol is probably not recommended, of course, because sugar factor plays a role in that, like for beer and stuff like that. And when it comes to hot, yeah, you can go for a few of them, and like rum and whiskey and things like that. But I would still recommend you to, probably have in moderation, in the same way again, maybe, I don't know, weekly once, 1 or 2 rounds max. Beyond that, it might definitely affect our goal. In general, of course, is alcohol going to be detrimental to the health? Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's just like sugar and other kinds of things. But if to keep it practical, you can go ahead and keep it in a very, very moderate level. For women, maybe just 1 round or something like that is what I would recommend, just for the sake of socializing, if you're going somewhere or even at home or just to chill around or whatever it is. So the frequency and the quantity needs to be balanced out when it comes for alcohol. So I hope I answered the question. So in case you still have any doubts, just let me know. I can clarify better. Once in a month it will happen. There'll be a party. Yeah, once in a month is perfectly fine. Just make sure that you're not going overboard. If it's once in a month, you can just probably stick to 1 or 2 rounds. For women, that's fine with that. And try to not go for sugary stuff. Don't go for cocktails which has a lot of Sprite and Coke and Pepsi in it. I don't know what's your style of alcohol, but in general, you would rather just take something, with ice or something like that, and try a little bit to avoid. The problem is actually more of the soft drink part of it also, that is being added loads of sugar, that is okay. So the cocktails are like a killer for our process. And of course, the alcohol content is lesser in that, on the other side of it. But in general, I'm telling you. And if you're going for like hot, like I said, just go for and wine is also okay. Wine, again, you can go for like 1 or 2 rounds, so which is also fine. Yeah, so that is another thing. Okay, so I hope I answered the question. Awesome. I get burps in the middle of the night. This is there almost all days, even if I have dinner at 8. Okay, cool. You have your dinner at 8, and what time do you go to sleep, Shimi? If we partied and had some fried food, how can we balance it the next day? Is there something extra we can do? Okay, guys. So to clarify this eating something and then balancing it out. I'll just give you an example. Okay. Any deep fried food would easily contribute to about 300 to 400. Like one samosa would be easily around 200 to 400 calories, depending upon what size is it. Just for that sake, I'm saying. And if you have all this, like I said, Chinese and things like that, it's going to be only on the higher side of it. Okay. And when you take it with alcohol or when you take it with other kinds of party-based food, it just goes a little overboard, right? So it could easily just touch upon like a 500 calories. Okay. And probably people who are here who are experienced, who do a lot of walking and who see their trackers, anybody has any idea on how much calories you can actually burn? Because like even if you slog for like 1 hour or so, you can maximum burn like 200 300 calories. So that is like a big deal. So compensating with another physical activity or compensating by not eating is not something that I would recommend as such. So it's not only the calories part of it. I think it's more about the other things that's missing out as a balanced meal part of it, which is a problem for us, right? Because your weight loss process that we're doing right now is not based on removing the food. It's based on adding the food. So the kind of food that we add, it goes down and it tends to burn your fat, and you go through a natural reduction of fat. Okay, so it's the food that we take in that plays a major role rather than the food that we remove out. This is one thing that I really want to clarify very clearly. Okay, that's the reason I insist a lot on the balanced meal factor. So it's kind of gets a little tricky when we say that I ate it. So how do I bring it down? Just to keep it simple, probably I would cut down on my carbohydrates for that particular night, since I've eaten already a deep fried, and I would probably cut down on my carbohydrates. And similarly, definitely big no for sugary stuff and the other stuff. And probably, I don't know, if your fullness factor is telling you that you're too full for a meal, maybe you can have something really light. And let's say you usually take like, 2 rotis or 3 rotis or 3 breads or something like that. You can bring it down to one and have basically 1/3 of whatever you usually have for your next meal, and just increase the protein or the vegetables component more, which will just add up to a 0 calorie. But it shouldn't be a regular practice. I wouldn't recommend it to be a regular practice. Yeah. Okay, so you sleep around 10:30. All right. Okay, Shami. So I don't think your sleeping time is a problem here, because you're giving a. But you did mention that you're taking fruits and milk and all that in the night, right? It was you who mentioned that, right? You said that you're having milk in the night. Why don't you try avoiding the milk in the night, Shimi? Because a lot of people don't understand the lactose intolerance, especially in the nights. Try skipping the milk in the night and probably have them somewhere early evening, maybe around 4ish, and see if there is any change without changing anything else. Because when you change too many things at the same time, you won't know which one made the difference. Okay, so that's why I'm not going to give you any other changes. I can give you more suggestions, but right now, let's try this and probably come back next week and we'll see how it is. Okay, try skipping the milk in the night and have them in the early evening. And eventually, maybe if it's still working, we'll probably have to see how the dairy can be playing a role. For many people, dairy will be a problem, which we don't observe much. Okay, cool, awesome. Okay, just finished. Okay, so Sarita, so just finished a 45 minutes run and 300 calories. There you go, guys. That's all you can burn. It's really sad, actually. So, okay, do we have to follow timings for each meal, like eating late morning as breakfast, late lunch, and late dinner and sleep? See, like I said, right? I think I already mentioned about this. We all have different patterns, but set that pattern clearly. Okay, it's good to always have an early breakfast and early lunch and early dinner. So it's always good to have it that way. But otherwise, early differs for each and every person. Like if you're a new mom, if you're a lactating mother, if you're a night shift worker, if you're a doctor, if you're into stock market, it depends, right? You might have a crazy schedule at home. For homemakers also, it could get really, really difficult. So I can't just insist on saying that you have to sharp eat by this time, this time, this time. Okay, I can give you like a range of how you can follow. I would usually recommend somewhere around 7 to 9 for breakfast in the morning, and similarly 7 to 9 for dinner in the night. and somewhere around 12 to 2 for lunch. So try to fix up a particular time range of maybe half an hour to 1 hour within these 2 hours that I'm mentioning, and see if you can try to train your body to have in the same time. Okay, guys, just give me 2 minutes. I think it's an emergency call that I'll have to take now. Please don't mind. Just give me 2 minutes. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. I have hypothyroid. Any special diet? Sarita, has your doctor mentioned any specific food to be avoided? Because for hypothyroidism, some doctors recommend not to have cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower and things like that. Some doctors ask you to avoid watery vegetables. Each and every doctor gives different formats of restrictions in terms of hypothyroidism, depending upon what is your level of hypothyroidism. And secondly, some doctors just go ahead with moderation. They don't believe in giving restrictions. I've seen our community members having both kinds of doctors, and following that way, they have been able to reduce both the sides. Okay, and in fact, their levels have also become pretty decent after a few months or so. So yes, avoid broccoli and fun. Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. So if whatever your medical practitioner has mentioned to you in terms of avoiding, stick to that. Don't take it. Even if you want to balance your meal, please try to bring in other kinds of vegetables and fruits that can still kind of cope up in terms of balancing our meal. So whatever medical condition, guys, is not just hypothyroidism, any medical condition that you have which is going to affect in terms of your diet and stuff like that, if your doctor has specifically mentioned not to take it, please do not take it. Okay, your doctor's advice always comes on top. Forget about everybody else, including me. In case I suggest a particular vegetable or suggest a particular way of fruit or something like that, if your doctor has told you not to take that, please don't take it. It's very important to follow your doctor. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yes, Shimi, you can try that and let me know. Max 200. Okay, Kalashi, I didn't understand that. Max 200 is okay. You mean the calories that we burn, right? Yes, that's right. That's right. That's right. Okay, cool. Awesome. So I think we kind of covered a few Q&A, and like I promised, I'm going to show you the balanced meal quickly, so that it's very, very important, guys. It's vital to follow this properly. So I would really recommend you guys to follow this as much as possible. Okay, it is there, like I said, as a material, as a part of your natural weight loss formula in your membership link. So don't rush yourself through. Take your time and slowly follow. I usually try to explain a lot from the natural weight loss formula during our weekly meeting. So don't worry about it, but still. Okay. So when it comes to a balanced meal, these are the things that we're going to follow. Okay. Your carbohydrates, your vegetables, fruits, fat, protein. Okay. So these are the major things that will be covered in our balanced meal as such. So when it comes to carbohydrates, it can be rice or wheat or roti or millets or poha, oats, upma, anything of that kind. Oh, okay. Is it not clear for everybody? Can you please type C or NC? Okay, NC for a lot of you. Let's see. It's clear now? Okay, Smita says C. Okay, cool, awesome. I think it just took some time to load. That's why it is. Okay. So yeah, so you can add any sorts of carbohydrates that's based on your family cooking, your way of eating, and things like that. There are no restrictions on what kind of carbohydrate you can take, but these are like different kinds. When it comes to millets, please be very careful with the quantity and frequency. And when people take it in porridge format and all that stuff, it becomes very filling because millets will fill you up, like we discussed in the last week. It'll fill you up very quickly and you won't feel like eating anything else, which means that you have to reduce the quantity of your porridge and still balance your meal with the rest of the things. Okay, it's very important. All right. And so in terms of vegetables, it'll be starchy and non-starchy. Any one of these, I mean, both these things are there, but we need to stick on to maximum non-starchy vegetables. Okay, maximum non-starchy vegetables. I would say, let's say we're taking a component of vegetables, 3/4 of it should be non-starchy, and probably 1/4 can be starchy. So probably 2 spoons of starchy vegetables is okay. Like when it comes for potatoes and yam and things like that. If it's going to be like beetroot and carrot, even those things are like starchy vegetables, but you can have it like once in a week and you can still take like a bigger quantity as such. But still, in general, please be aware, like, of the starchy and non-starchy vegetables. Preferably taking non-starchy vegetables is going to aid a lot towards our goal as such. Okay, so that is the second part. And when it comes to fruits, please be very careful with the sugary and the non-sugary fruits. Watermelon and banana and all these fruits could be like pretty much on the higher end. I see a lot of you posting banana. I know that it's a very simple fruit to take in the mornings, and but still, since our goal is weight loss here, the sugar component in it could play a huge role. So I'm not asking you to completely avoid it. Maybe once in 10 days is okay, but we do have a lot of other choices. So I would say until we reach our goal, it will be better to go for the other kinds of fruits. Okay, and non-sugary fruits like raw guava, papaya, apple, all these kind of fruits can be taken in plenty, no problem at all. Okay, fat component, again we have good and bad fat components. So when it comes to good, like I said, coconut oil, nuts, seeds, avocado, all these things are like good fat. And when it comes to bad, it's like pastries, fried foods, processed stuff. All these things would be on the bad fat component. Protein, it can be vegetarian or non-vegetarian. You can decide on based on your eating preference. In vegetarian, you can take like loads of, like I said, lentils. You can just happily, boil them and put some tadka and keep them and stuff like that. And mushrooms, tofu, soya, paneer, all these things are like vegetarian paneer that you can take. Curd is also one among this, actually. So if you just want to keep it simple, curd is absolutely fine. And non-vegetarian, lean meat, sticking out to lean meat, avoiding the mutton and beef sort of stuff, skin part of it and things like that. That would be a better choice. So any you can take all sorts of seafoods like fish, crabs, all those things you can take. Chicken you can take, prawns you can take, all these things you can take. I just want you to avoid the red meat scenarios as such. Okay, and eggs, of course, you can take when it comes to non-vegetarians or vegetarians. If you're I'm an vegetarian, so if you're a vegetarian, you can go ahead and take eggs, not a problem. So now I'm going to quickly take you through the balanced meal plate. Okay, this is something that I sat and designed with my designer in a format that I recommend for people. In Google, there are loads of different types, but this is something that I sat and designed with my designer. So, are you guys able to see the balanced meal? Please type C if it's clear. The balanced meal pop up that's come. Okay. So, guys, this is the key. Okay. If you're going to stick on to this, your weight loss is a short winner. Okay, I want you to make sure that you just stick on to this. You don't have to worry about it. It's there in your membership link, like I said, in your natural weight loss formula. In the bonuses, you can find it out of the balance meal. Okay, so very simple. This is how your plate should look like. You can have healthy carbs. Okay, and you can have vegetables and fruits, and you can have lean protein. And a lot of times when it comes to food, the protein and the fat will get mixed along with your existing food. So it's very difficult to split them and tell. Okay, so that's the reason I always speak more about the vegetables and fruits rather than splitting the thing. Say, for example, millet is very high in protein, right? So you don't have to have a separate protein component. Similarly, idlis and dosas also have protein. You have urad dal in that. So you don't have to go gaga about the protein. I don't completely believe in the way people go with protein shakes and all that stuff. So you can go just in moderation with the protein part of it, and preferably lean protein, like I mentioned. And it could be just be nuts as well. If you're taking nuts like for the rest of the day by snacking nuts and seeds and all those things, that will also bring in a lot of protein component that you bring. So you don't have to necessarily make it, specific with your meal. Main thing that you notice here is the portion sizing of these things. Okay, the portion sizing of your vegetables and fruits, if you notice here, is almost half of the plate. Okay, it's a little bit on the difficult side when you start off initially itself with that. There are many who have started initially itself, but still, if you're a person who's not a huge veggie fan as such, it will be very difficult for you to start off with that. But that's the reason in our tasks we take it step by step. First we add some sort of vegetables or fruits for all the 3 meals, and then eventually only after the 5th and 6th weeks we slowly, I think in the 5th week, if I'm not wrong, we increase the vegetables by double and reduce the carbohydrates, and then again after 2 more weeks we go ahead and start bringing in more colors and things like that. So I take it in a very gradual manner, but in general, finally this is how your plate will look once you have accustomed yourself towards a complete healthy eating. This is how your plate will typically look. Okay, so half of your plate will be filled with vegetables or fruits. It could be in any format. It could be your sabzi, your raita, your poriyal, your kootu, from your sambar vegetables, from your gravy vegetables, from your salads, from your I don't know what else can you guys bring in vegetables in any format. It just doesn't matter at all. Okay, so but just bring them as at least half of the plate. And the carbs we have, of course, 2 types, like the healthy carbs itself. And sometimes, when we go for like smart carb, like I said, one of you said that you like potatoes. And I saw one more person who went for sweet potatoes and things like that. Yes, it's good form, right? It's good form of carbohydrates, but still always having a grain-based carb is extremely important. Okay, and you need the carbohydrate to be doing a lot of duty with the vegetables and protein that you take in. Carbohydrates plays a role in terms of helping the metabolization of the protein and the vegetable. That is the main reason I'm saying that carbohydrates is a must. I see a lot of people making the mistake of saying that, KD, I already had fruits, a bowl of fruits, so I'm full, I'm not taking carbohydrates. They think that they're being very smart and they're cutting down carbohydrates, I'm going to reduce weight faster than the others and stuff like that. But you're not doing good for yourself. Okay, people who have followed a simple balanced meal by having all the 3 components in it have seen much more successful results than people who have gone for restrictive eating by taking only fruits or only vegetables or only protein and things like that, or only porridge. It's not good to take just one part of it alone, and you might think that you're very smart by doing that, but that's not what your body needs by the end of the day. Okay, so yeah, so when it comes to lean protein, you can try with fish, beans, eggs, milk, yogurt, cheese, tofu, meat, lentils, pulses, all these things. So in general, starchy vegetables can be taken in moderation when it comes to the vegetables and fruits. Let's say half of the plate is vegetables and fruits. In this, I would probably say, like, 1/4 of this half, right? So you have this entire half, 180 degrees. In that 1/4 of it, you can take a starchy vegetable, and the rest of the 3/4 of the entire thing, you'll still want to go for a non-starchy vegetables. Yeah. So that's the thing that I would do. Okay, losing inches, but weight loss is slow. Any idea why? Well, I actually wanted to discuss about this topic, but probably we'll keep it for next week since we are concentrating on balanced meal. I'll just give you a quick understanding, Sarita. What are we aiming at here? Okay, first of all, we are not aiming at fast reduction. Okay, we are aiming at sustainable reduction. Okay, if we are having a particular number in our mind, it's going to be very stressful. Okay, and don't check your weight until you finish your first 6 weeks. Okay, for a lot of us, the weighing scale is an absolutely unreliable source. Okay, first 6 weeks, a lot of us who don't have water weight, we won't reduce the weight at all. Okay, it's extremely difficult for us to reduce the weight, but we'll be losing all the inches because, like I said, because of the addition of the right kind of foods, your fat is being lost, which is the right way of weight loss. We shouldn't be losing on our important weight. See, when people skip carbohydrates, when people skip on the protein, when people skip on all these things, you tend to deteriorate all the important. Your muscles get weaker, your general body health goes down. All those things happen, right? Over here, we're doing it in a very healthy manner here. So the best way to do it is when you do this addition of right kind of foods, you tend to lose your fat, and that's why you're losing your inches, which is the right kind of loss. I'm usually very hesitant to call this as a weight loss program. Okay, because weight loss by itself is a very wrong term. We're not trying to lose weight here. We're trying to get into the right shape in a proper BMI level, where in a healthier way. Okay, that is what we want, an overall reduction. Okay, and another quick thing for you is that, okay, let's say that you are reducing your weight, maybe, I don't know, 6 to 8 months time, and you've reduced your inches more than your weight, like you're just seeing a pattern right now. And let's say you meet a friend after 6 to 8 months, and this friend comes and says, okay, now come on, Sarita, come and stand on the weighing scale. I want to see how much you've reduced. Is that what your friend is going to tell you? Or your friend just watches you and she says, whoa, Sarita, you've actually lost a lot of weight, right? So nobody is going to make you step on a weighing scale and find out how much weight you have reduced specifically. So don't stress yourself out in terms of numbers. Forget about it. The reason I'm asking you to keep a tracker with your inches, the reason I'm asking you to keep a dream dress, the reason I'm asking you to keep different levels of dream dresses is because that is the right way of looking at it. The reason I'm asking you, how is your gut health? How is your mental health? How is your sleep? How is your activity? How is your energy level? These are all the right kinds of things that we'll need to be looking at. Okay, I'll talk a little bit more in detail in the next week about this, but I think that is the overall. They say you look great. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. That's what, okay, let's face the fact, okay? We do want to get into the healthy spectrum. Definitely that is like 50% of it, or a little bit more for a lot of us. On the other side, we want to look good by reducing the weight. Nobody's going to say, I don't want to look good by reducing the weight, right? So let's look at the final result of it. So don't, really worry about numbers and stuff like that. Don't get carried away with the weight. Someone will come and tell you, I reduced so much more weight. I started after you by doing this other program, or I went to this kind of workout and I did that, this, that. Don't take any of those things into your mind. Just do yourself. You do you. You do KDsians program, and you will be there. Don't worry about it at all. Yeah. Okay, I gain weight by 1 kg when I start gym. Exactly. So that is another scenario, Veena, because you're building your muscles. Okay, when you start doing a lot of heavy workouts, what happens is your muscles build up. And a lot of times when people misunderstand, thinking that when they do workout, their body is shaping up, what happens is, like I said, I'll cover this a little bit more in the next week, but I'll just quickly tell you, since you asked this question, your muscles tend to tighten up. Okay, your muscles tend to tighten up, but your fat inside, which is like in between those muscles, it's still there. It remains there. Your fat is still not burnt. Your muscle is tightening up, basically. Your skin is just becoming a little bit more tight. Imagine like when you blow a balloon, right? So that is what is happening. So, but that does not mean that you are losing your weight. In fact, you will put on more weight when you do a lot of heavy workouts, because there will be a weight mass that will be increasing, right? So your that is another reason why your weighing scale is a big liar. Okay, so forget about the weighing scale. Just ditch it. Seriously. Yeah, exactly. Intermittent fasting. Okay, so I have sattamavu kanji and a fruit for breakfast. Does that count for balance? I think it's okay. It's okay. See, when you say sattamavu kanji, it should be. I'm assuming it might have millets and things like that. I don't know what kind of sattamavu we're talking about here, because sometimes they just add a lot of dal and things like that, but sometimes they have sprouts in it. Sometimes they have millets in it. So I don't know what kind of porridge we're talking about here. Millets and sprouts. Okay, so be careful with the millets is what I would say. I don't know, is there any specific reason on so as to why you are choosing a porridge? Just another small suggestion that I would tell you here is, more than drinking, try to eat your food, right? When you eat your food, you tend to get satisfied better, right? I know it's easier in the mornings. I know in joint families and even in regular running around and stuff like that, just drink something and leaving is like way more easier, or having a banana and leaving is way more easier. But in general, right, you want to munch for your body. You want to munch as much as possible. That is why even when you're told that I have my spinach and my paratha and my thing, you're not munching. You're missing out on the munching part. And guys, we already saw about the mindful eating, right, during the 5 days programs, how much munching makes a huge difference as such. So when you go for a liquid format, when you go for other kinds of format. The munching, when you mix off the vegetables in your batter and flour and things like that, you're kind of missing out on the munching part, right? You can add Perman rice or buttermilk to porridge. Yes, you can add Perman's rice or buttermilk to the porridge. There's no problem. Is that a question, Brinda, or are you suggesting? I'm not exactly able to understand that. If you're asking me as a question, yes, you can eat. You can absolutely eat Perman's rice. Suggestion, okay, yes, all right. Heat, summer has started hitting in. I'm in Chennai. It's extremely hot now already. So I do have at least once a week or once in 2 weeks, I have, definitely, like she said, the Perman rice and buttermilk and things like that in the morning. But along with that, I still don't miss my fruit or my vegetable or some sort of a protein content along with it. But it definitely helps me to bring down my heat as such. Yeah. Is rava okay? Not on a regular basis, but just as a variation in a week. Yeah, absolutely. I make upma and all that stuff. Khichdi, all that stuff. I'm big on rice. Feel so guilty. No problem. I like rice too. Just slowly, start adding your vegetables and fruits. Try to get this balanced meal format, right? Try to be. You cannot reduce your rice without increasing the other components of the balanced meal, right? So that is the most important part about having the balanced meal format. People always make the mistake of reducing it completely. No, you should do the addition first. Get your body accustomed to your satiety, new kind of satiety. So earlier you used to fill your body with other kinds of food. Now you're filling your body with different kinds of food. So your body needs to get accustomed. That's why we're going on a weekly based task, not like on a daily based task. So once you do that, you will slowly start reducing your consumption of rice. Don't worry about it. And you don't have to go to nil. Remember that you need to have your rice, and each and every person has different quantities. So don't worry about it at all. Yeah. Okay, cool. So what's Perman rice? Okay. So Perman's rice is nothing. You just soak the old rice from the previous night, and some people make it in a different manner. They also add, when we filter the rice water, when we boil the rice and make it not in a cooker, they add that as well to bring in the right kind of nutrients in it, because it's got very important the prebiotic and probiotic sort of format food is very important. So it's available in fermented food. Okay, so in Perman's rice, the main reason why it becomes extremely healthy is because of the fermentation process that it goes through. So when you just soak it, and you just let it soak for the entire night, it tends to become a beautifully fermented food, which helps a lot with your gut, right? So it's just basically rice soaked the previous night. And frankly, it's become so famous across the world right now. Many people are, having it these days, which I'm very happy about. So that is what Perman's rice looks like. So we drink the water first with whatever the soap water. So in the morning, we just mix up the rice with some salt and stuff like that. We mix it up nicely and we drink the water separately and then eat the rice. And along with that, I usually have some spicy vegetable or a pickle, or if summer season hits in, I take mango and I kind of squash the mango along with some spices and stuff like that, and I eat it along with that. I also take a fruit after that. So somehow I balance it, but it's extremely tasty and a very simple stuff to have. Should we be careful? Yes, you have to be careful with the starch in the Perman's rice. That's why I'm saying that don't go for a daily basis. Many people make the mistake of eating too often. Whatever it is, different kinds of grains, millets or Perman's rice or whatever it is, just try to keep it in moderation. Don't eat anything like on a daily basis unless like a staple or something like that. Okay, if you're trying something new, please try to keep them in moderation. Yeah. White rice or brown rice? Okay, so obviously brown rice is healthier because of the process of how the rice component, right, from the beginning, the skin of it is peeled and things like that. So brown rice has one more extra part of it still attached to it, which means it gives a higher fiber and stuff like that. So brown rice is healthier, there's no doubt about it. But is it a compulsory factor? Maybe not. If somebody doesn't like to eat brown rice, it's okay. White rice is fine. People have still seen results, no problem at all. You can still stick to it. But yeah, it is definitely healthier, no worries. Getting corns on the foot due to too much running. Okay. Why too much running then? Moderation. Please bring it down to moderation. Yes, more molaga and pickles or potato fried or vadam is great combination for the poor man's food. That's very, very true. Don't overdo your workouts, guys. Okay, don't overdo your workouts. Don't torture your body in any format. You know, people tell you willpower that there's no why do you have to do that? Have a peaceful connection with your body. Have a, you know, treat it like your child, treat it like your friend who doesn't want to be tortured. Okay, so do as much as possible. If it's giving you a trouble, take a break. Have at least one day off with your workouts, whatever your regular workouts is. You need a recovery day. Do some very simple yoga or something like that on that day. Don't try to pressurize yourself too much, right? It's important for you to keep things in moderation. Yeah, and always see, running is again just cardio, right? So make sure that you have a good mix of other kinds of workouts as well if possible, like one for flexibility and one for cardio and one for strengthening and things like that. So that way, if you do like one day, one thing, you still get to, yeah, weights, correct. So one, that's what I meant by strengthening. So strengthening happens by weights, right? That is what gives you that muscle mass buildup, the whatever we spoke about all this while, right? So you can have it split on different days so that you're not giving the pressure to the same part of the body, right? So when you keep running, you're pressurizing your feet basically. So you don't pressurize the same part of the body. Have a good, you know, spread out movement required for your body and keep it very, you know, chilled manner. Don't overdo things. It's not required at all. Okay. Cool. Awesome, guys. So I think we had a great session today. Yeah, do try yoga. Absolutely. Yoga is great for flexibility and your body needs flexibility by the end of the day. I know a lot of runners who can run like crazy, but they can't bend down and touch their feet. So it's really funny when people don't concentrate on an overall wellness strategy. Yes, I am recording it. I'm sorry I didn't record the first 10 minutes. I forgot, but I am recording it. I'll try to share the recorded session, Brinda. Sure. Let me work on that. Okay. Awesome, guys. So is there any other question or can we wind up the session? It's been an hour since we started and 5 minutes more than that. I don't want to keep you waiting. It's dinner time over here at least. I don't know where you're from. So, okay. Awesome. Okay, cool. I had a great time. It's always beautiful to catch up with KDsians. I'll be announcing the winners and stuff like that for this week. Guys, the sunrise photography competition is going on. So go ahead and put the hashtag in the Weight Transformers FB group. If you've not yet joined, please go ahead and join that group. And this particular competition is going on right now. Last time we had, the previous time we had smart recipe competition and we had some winners and they contributed like 100 points to their houses. Okay, so you can also do that. Go ahead and participate in the sunrise competition. You just have to put hashtag KD sunrise photography competition and you can just go ahead and keep posting it in that particular FB closed group. You can either put it in the comments or you can just put new post over there. The post is not restricted at all. So yeah, so try to contribute to your houses. I will be releasing the results for this particular week or two, depending upon how you guys are performing on who's doing best. Okay. Awesome. Thank you for joining again. I had a great time with you. I hope it was informative for you guys as well. I had fun in a general way. Q&A. Sorry, there's one more here. I'm really sorry, I missed out. What are the trees we can take or in what form? Yeah, you can try all kinds of trees, no problem. I mean, there are some, I know that, some trees are supposed to be more on the nutritional side of it as such, but I would say as of now, just stick to moderation of the quantity of cheese more than, because right now, since their goal is weight loss, predominantly, I think I would stick to the quantity part of it right now and the frequency. Once in 10 days, maybe, like probably for a sandwich or anything else that you want, a cheese omelette or whatever you want to add it in. It doesn't, right now it's okay to go ahead and have different kinds of cheese. Try to get more organic stuff, lesser processed, a local vendor, somebody who makes it for you, something like that. So I would concentrate more on that, more than the type of cheese for now. In general, otherwise, let's quickly see that. because I've tried these things when I used to be in the food industry, right? So um, we've tried different kinds of cheese variety for pizzas and things like that. So in general, I think many of us go for mozzarella and cheddar. That is the most commonly used. Gouda is a little expensive, but it is meant to be good. And so is feta and parmesan. I don't know which part of the world you are from, Dr. Sangeeta, but depending upon your local availability, try your level best to stick on to locally produced, lesser processed cheese. It's a great, healthy fat component, but still, that is the only thing that I would want you to concentrate on. Okay. Sorry, I missed out your question. You had put it on Q&A, so I didn't notice it. Okay. Hope I answered the question. In case you still haven't found your answers right, so please go ahead and WhatsApp me at any point of time. You know that I'm there. Okay. So have fun, guys. This is Katie, your weight loss angel. Have a great week ahead. See ya. Bye bye.